Hi, this is Courtney from Ruby Red Farm. I wanted to take a moment to answer a question that I get quite often from our customers. And that question is, how do I cook a whole chicken? So I am 33 years old. If you are anything like me, my generation and younger, we're just not used to putting our hands on our food. They make fun of us for, we think chicken comes in the shape of nuggets and all these things, but there is some truth to that. When I first started this homesteading journey and we started raising whole birds, I was a little disappointed. I thought, well, what am I supposed to do with it? What can I do with this chicken that isn't already into the cuts? When I was first married, my go-to was those big 10 packs of chicken breast from the supermarket, and I thought I was really onto something. But now that I've gone through life and I've gotten older and I've read too many books, I've realized I have no idea where that chicken came from. The quality just wasn't there. The flavor wasn't there. And then ethically, who knows how those birds were raised? Now I know exactly how my birds were raised because I raised them at my own house. But if you are to buy a whole chicken, either from us or another local farmer's market type of a vendor, it's important to know what to do with that. And so today is just going to be a very basic overview of a couple of my favorite ways to prepare a whole bird. There are dozens more ways out there, and I am by no means an expert, but this is just meant to be a beginner's guide to how to cook a whole chicken. So my favorite option by far is the crock pot. I've had this crock pot since we got married 11 years ago. It's got some wear and tear, but it still works great. With a crock pot, with my whole bird, I'm typically going to be putting about 1 inch of water in the bottom. Doesn't have to be any specific amount, just enough to keep it from sticking to the pan. Also though, I really don't season it. I am a lazy chef, guys. So I'm not putting a whole lot of seasoning on there. If any, I'm simply sticking the whole bird in the crock pot, usually breast side down, putting it on low and going to work. And so this is a fantastic option for us since we both work outside of the home. I'll put it on low for 8 to 9 hours, come home, shred the chicken, and it is ready to roll. If I'm home, like today is a Sunday, just got home from church, I now have the whole afternoon to cook a bird. And so I'm gonna do that same process, except now I'm gonna put it on high and cook it for about 4 to 5 hours. You still get that slow cooked effect without it taking 8 or 9 hours. So by far, crock pot's my favorite method. Next favorite method is the Instapot. So the Instapot is a really great option for us on a weeknight. Again, we both work. And so if I'm getting home, say at 5 o'clock, the Instapot is great because what I can do is I can put my chicken in there, again, with about 1 inch or so of water, set it for pressure cook for 25 to 30 minutes, depending on the size of the bird. Now, one thing to keep in mind though with a pressure cooker is it has to take some time to get up to pressure, and then it needs time to get down from that pressure. So even though it says you're cooking for 25 minutes, just know that that really means it's going to take more like 45 minutes to an hour. So not ideal, but at the same time, it's hands off. So for us, it works great. I can put the chicken in, again, with some seasoning or not, go out, do my chores, switch the laundry, get everything else I'm going to be having with dinner ready, and then boom, my chicken's done. Shred it really quickly, and the number of meals you can use it in is truly endless. Next, we're going to talk about the oven. So old-fashioned method, and it works fantastic. So with the oven, a baked chicken sometimes is one of my favorite things to make because it's so simple. I will season a baked chicken because typically you are going to eat the skin. It'll be a little crispier, so it's a little more palatable. I usually keep it really simple though, with just salt, pepper, maybe some garlic and onion. You do not have to get fancy with it. I will say though, Pinterest and Google just have gobs and gobs of recipes for whole baked chicken. Nice thing again with whole chicken in the oven is it's hands off. You put it into a baking sheet, usually either spray some oil on that or put some foil down and bake it. The amount of time depends on the size of the bird. With our birds being more like 4 or 5 pounds, that's where, in my opinion, baking it has its downside. You're going to be baking that chicken for over an hour typically. Now, there is another method. If you have never heard of a spatchcock chicken, and you're my age or younger, prepare to be a little bit shocked. But a spatchcock chicken is very hands-on, but incredibly effective. So what you do with that is take a very good strong pair of kitchen shears. You have to actually cut along the backbone. So you are cutting bones here, people. It's pretty hands-on. But once you have that, you flatten the chicken down, just as gruesome as it sounds. Season it like you normally would, and it cuts that baking time down to more like 40 to 45 minutes. So again, on a weeknight, even though that's a little more hands-on than most of us are used to, it's a really, really nice method as well. So 3 different methods, all with slightly different times. My favorite though, again, was the crock pot, so I'll be showing you that one. So here we have our whole bird in the crock pot. I'm gonna put mine on high for the next 4 hours. I do have it breast side down. There's about 1 inch of water in there just to keep things nice and moist through the cooking process. And we will be back in 4 hours to see what this bird looks like. And here it is, 4 hours later on high. We have a nice cooked bird with some boiling broth. You can even look, if you look closely, you can even see the fat bubbles down there on the liquid. It steamed up my camera. Looking good. I'll show you what it looks like shredded next. So here is the bird that I not so gracefully got out of the crock pot. I usually end up using a spatula and a spoon. Sometimes it comes out in pieces. Not a big deal either way. It's all getting shredded at the end. So in this case, this chicken is destined for chicken and noodles. And so I am actually going to use a ladle and ladle out quite a bit of that broth and use it to boil my noodles in. So I will show you though how we get this chicken to be shredded chicken that is going to be used for so many different recipes. So to shred the chicken, a lot of times I will have a fork or a knife handy just to cut it into smaller pieces, but my best tool by far is my hands. And so for the most part, I will take it out, let it cool off. That's pretty key. Usually I only give it about 5 or 10 minutes and then it's fine for me to do. I like to keep 2 buckets handy. And so I keep 2 bowls, one for good chicken that I'm keeping and one for bad chicken that I don't want to eat. And so we usually just get rid of the skin and the bones and use it for other purposes. You can, of course, make broth and do all sorts of nice things. We have an endless supply of chickens for the most part, and so we usually just use the chicken and go from there. So again, all I'm doing is peeling off. This happens to be from the thigh. I'm peeling off pieces of chicken, getting them off to the side. If it's something I don't want, like the skin, I'm taking it, throwing it into one of my discard buckets, and working my way through. I'll show you what it looks like. All you've got to do though, guys, is just simply split it apart, shred it like you would pulled pork, and you can again cut it into smaller chunks if you want to. So this is the finished product, guys. I have got about 6 cups or so of shredded chicken that I can use to make any number of meals. If all you've ever had is boneless, skinless chicken breast, just know that you're missing out. There's so much more flavor to the dark meat of a chicken and so much more versatility to what you can do with the recipes. So again, here is my finished product, guys. And I will show you what meal we made tonight, but I actually like to keep about 2 cups or so for things like chicken quesadillas or chicken tacos later in the week. Very, very versatile. You can do a lot of different things with it. And here is the finished product, guys. Chicken and noodles, heavy on the chicken. This is a family favorite and should last us the rest of the week. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment below if you have any questions. Have a great day from Ruby Red Farm. Bowl number 3. I think he likes it.
Yum.